Beloved in Christ, Christ is risen.
Indeed, he is risen.
It's important that we say that every day, whether you're not accustomed to it or not, to people. Somebody calls you on a telephone, you should say, "Good morning, Christ is risen." Catholics are dormant. The average Catholic is dormant. In other words, he's dead. This is the greatest event in history, is the resurrection. And I don't hear people saying Christ is risen anymore. Nothing. They were more worried in an NFL draft than in the rising of Christ. Oh, yeah. This is why there are problems throughout the world. Today's gospel. What does today's gospel mean to you? Just another story and wondering if it's true? What is it? We see a lot on television today with the evangelists, different groups on healing. This is all about healing. Today's gospel is about healing. And it's a simplicity about healing. And it requires faith. It requires believing. Simplicity is required for faith in believing. This is what the average Catholic lacks. And even the Protestants. Well, yeah. We wouldn't have the problems we have today. There wouldn't be poverty. There wouldn't be sickness. There wouldn't be demonic attacks on people if they confess the word and adhere to the word. Let's listen to today's gospel. It says the most striking thing about this miracle is that Jesus did not, what he did not do, he neither touched the man or washed him in the pool. He only spoke the words. Rise, take up your pallet and walk. And the man was healed. Turn on television, and they're out there screaming and they're shouting and everything. You don't have to do that. Every one of us sitting in here, if you partake in the sacraments, if you're confirmed, if you've been to confession, and if you adhere and affirm the word in Mark chapter 16, the last 11 words that Jesus says he ascended into heaven, he said to all the people and the apostles and disciples, lay hands on the sick and they shall be healed. That's a command from Jesus. That's as great as the 10 Commandments. And if you're not doing that, don't expect to go to heaven. I'll tell you that right now. God says, lay hands on the sick and they shall be healed. And God says in chapter 16 of Mark, verses 15 through 19, if you believe in me, these signs and wonders will follow you. You'll raise the dead. You'll speak in tongues. You'll pray in tongues. You'll pick up vipers. Amen. You'll heal the sick. How many of us go into a supermarket and you see somebody in a wheelchair feeling good? How many of us go up and say, want me to pray for you? And just say what Jesus said to the man. You want to walk? Why are we afraid to say that? Because it might not happen. Don't worry about the other person. Worry about you doing the job. We have healing services. I've been in the healing business for over 25 years. First, I used to worry because I laid hands on people, nothing happened. But then I was told, you do your part, and the person whose hands you lay on them, they have to do their part. They have to believe in the gospel that this is going to happen. This man wanted to be healed in today's gospel. He just says, pick up your mat and go home. You're healed. But there's something else that came out in this gospel that's prevalent today. They wanted to know why he was walking and why he was transgressing the day of the Sabbath. Because he was he was working on the Sabbath. See, immediately, what did he do? He wanted to blame it on somebody. Oh, yes. Who was the first person that wanted to blame something when he committed a sin? It was Adam. When God said, I know what you did, he says, yeah, God, but the woman who you made for me caused me to bite of the apple. That's how men act today. They like to blame the woman for everything. You see? Oh, yeah, just look around. All I want to say in today's gospel, this is John. If you read John 14, verses 12 through 15, Jesus says that how many of us don't believe this? That's why we're poor. That's why we have no money. You don't have to depend on the government for anything. Jesus said, think about this. If you believe in me and have faith in me, you'll do whatever I do. You'll do more than what I do. I'm going to the Father. And whatever you ask in my name, I will give it to you. He didn't say, only for a chosen few, or I'll give. He says, anything. How many of us believe that? How many of us believe, Mark 11, verse 24, Jesus says, whatever you desire and pray for, believe that you have it. How many of us can't meet your monthly payment and it's due in 2 weeks? How many of us look at that, Mark 11, 24, and say that prayer? I desire money to pay my monthly pay bill. I believe that I'll have it. Let us say.